I do have that belief that we have to make it easier to make it out there, because if we in our generation cannot pay the price, then the next generation will have the same complaints that we have right now. And is the fact that I strongly believe that every one of us is an embodiment of potentials, like I said earlier.
So, but then I realized that we have to write our story. In Africa, we have to write our story. In Cameroon, we have to write our story wherever we are.
You know, there are times I had to knock at the doors of some offices more than 4 or 5 times before I could be given a chance, or I could be given a listening ear.
Hi everyone, it's Elster Africa here again with another interesting and amazing episode. In today's video, I've got a young Cameroonian here who is trying to see that he does a different thing apart from what the others are doing. We're going to be hearing from him who he is and probably what he does. So we would like to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Elster. I'm called Thomas. I'm an author and an engineer by profession, a songwriter, and a public speaker.
Okay, that's his profile. And what brought me particularly here is the fact that he launched one of his books recently. I wasn't opportune to be at the launching of the book, unfortunately, but I am happy that we are here today. I am grateful. I am grateful that we have this opportunity that we finally had this opportunity to sit down like this and do a video together. I would like to know more about the book you just launched recently. We would like to hear more about that book.
All right, thank you. My recent book, Boundless Love, I just launched. That is one of the biggest masterpiece I've had to produce by God's grace. And it's a book that has been given out to help people heal from trauma, to help people build relationships of all types, between workers and employees, parents and children, between lovers, and building communities and social cohesion.
Oh wow! From what he said, you should probably know that this book is really rich, and I mean, you should be thinking of trying to get one. And another question I'm going to ask is this: is this your first book you're launching? Is this the first book you've ever written?
Okay, no, this is not the first book I've written. It's actually the second book I'm launching, though there are other books that I wrote before then, but I've decided to hold on with the launching of those other books. I had to fast forward the launching of this one because I thought it was more timely for that message, and I thought it was, when I look at what was happening in the world, I thought this was the exact time for such a message to go out to the world.
Okay, that's great. One other thing. When people hear that you are an engineer, you are a songwriter, you're a book writer, and the rest, they will probably know that, oh, this man is coming from probably a very rich home. This man is probably a very rich guy. We would like to know how is your background? Did you grow up from a rich home, or how has it been probably growing up and trying to incorporate all of these things in oneself, which is you?
I can say one thing has been the reason for this, which has been the grace of God and the fact that I believed in myself. And I didn't grow up from a rich home. For some people who knew me early when I came to Douala, even at the level of the university, I had to hop things around. I had to even do house help at a few people's residence in order to get through. I work at people's farm, at people's chantiers. I didn't have someone who could deal with me. I'm one of those guys who grew up without ever having stuff like pocket allowance in school. But I believed in myself. I worked hard. I studied, and even till now, one of the things I do best is study.
Wow. Wow. So you heard him well. He didn't grow up from a rich home. I mean, he did everything by himself. Now, we have so many youths out there, and most of them probably are trying to, I don't know if it's the get rich earlier scheme. What is your message to these younger ones who are still growing up, to the younger ones who are still trying to make ends meet in life?
All right, there's something I believe. I believe that wealth that is sustainable, or riches that are sustainable, cannot be fast tracked. So I do believe that all those who are trying to fast track work, that are getting work that is temporal. I think I hear something like it's out. People talk about living happy and dying young. There should be no reason for anyone wanting to die young, because every one of us is a moving embodiment of potentials and blessings to this globe. That God will want you to live to full age and release and maximize these potentials to bless this earth. So I think fulfilling your purpose, living to fulfill your purpose here is more important than making quick money. So what I can tell people out there is, if you want money so badly, you will certainly make it. But there are two ways you can make it: through the legal means. You can make it, and the legal means will take you time. Yeah, I'm not saying it will take you the same time it's taking me. I'm not saying it will take you the same time it's taking others. Yours could be faster, but it will take you time, and you will have to be patient and grow consistently.
Okay, before we continue, your book was launched some months ago. It's good that we know where people can get this book, maybe before we move on to other questions. Where can people actually get these books? Do they have to call your number maybe to get the books, or how is it?
All right. To get the book, you can get the book on Amazon. You can get the book on Kingdom Press and many other retailers online like Book Bonds. And here in the country, it's available in a few bookshops here in Douala and a few bookshops in Yaoundé. And for now, those who can get in direct contact to me too, I always appreciate so much when readers get to me. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, for those who have chance, and if they get to me, if I cannot supply them, I can always direct them to somebody, because I love keeping that contact to be able to get good feedback from them and see how the book is changing their lives, and whatever extra contribution I can do to their life.
Oh, wow. So you heard that, and I want to urge you to rush to any of these places he mentioned. So try get a copy of the book. It's enriching, and you're going to learn a lot from that book. I promise you. One other thing, probably, I don't know if that's only in Cameroon or in Africa. Probably most people just go to school to get the names. Like, you want to be called professor, you want to be called an engineer, you want to be called this, you want to be called that. But then, are you a practicing engineer, or you're just an engineer because you went to school and attained that level of education?
Actually, I'm a practicing engineer, both personally and job-wise. Yeah. Wow. I think by the grace of God, I have a good job, a good engineering job. To be.
He as well mentioned that he is a singer, so I would like us to hear from him. If maybe you have, I don't know if you are a singer in this way. If I have a wedding and I want someone who can sing, I should maybe invite you, something like that. Maybe you can better explain this to me.
All right. Thank you. First, I sing to glorify God. I'm a member of the praise and worship team in the church, and that is my base. And I belong also to an orchestra, the Techno Worship Community. So it is with the Techno Worship Community that we can minister at people's occasions. Yeah, so I think pretty that is the kind of music I do, and I also record, yeah, in the studio.
Which means you probably have so many songs, or maybe some songs to your name.
Yeah,
I have a few songs to my name, though not all online, but I have a few songs on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
What's the channel name?
MM Thomas.
You can check him out on MM Thomas. At the beginning, he mentioned his name, MM Thomas. Maybe you should better explain the meaning of those MM, because not everyone will know what that means.
MM, my name is actually Masan Jokan Thomas, so just abbreviated MM Thomas, and it's kind of more of a branding, I think, because that is what you can get on all my social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, everywhere. You just get me as MM Thomas.
Yeah. We've heard from Mr. Thomas already. We've already heard more about him. We also like to know which part of Cameroon are you from? And maybe, your age as well. I don't know if you are good at maybe sharing your age to people out there, but I think that maybe sharing your age to people out there in a way will motivate probably them to be able to work harder. But then it all depends on you.
All right. It's true that I I don't really love sharing such private information out there. But as for where I'm from the Northwest region, uh, Santa to be precise. Yeah.
Mamenda boy.
Yeah, we Bamenda boy. Bamenda boy.
And you started everything like you came here. What brought you to Douala
Voilà.
was school.
Yeah, education. I first moved to Douala, or I visited Douala for my first time when I came to write the concours to National Polytechnic Douala, and a couple of months after, I came back here when I succeeded the concours. I came back here for studies, and that was 2013, and since then I've been here. Hmm.
Oh, uh, if you're watching this video and you think that you have a better story, or you have a good story, or you have a business idea, or probably you are doing something different from what the others are doing out there, you can reach out to me on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube as well. On YouTube, under my comment section, the name is L, like letter L, Star Africa. If you're enjoying the video so far, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. Do leave a like. Do consider subscribing here for more amazing and interesting content from Cameroon. Okay, in publishing this book, sir, I don't know. Are you into this? Are you doing all of this alone, or do you have a team, or how do you come about with all of these books?
Okay, first, for now, most of the work had been outsourced before now. From the first book, I had to try a few publishing house.
Okay.
Although for some of them I wasn't satisfied with the quality of what I got, and especially with the quality of the service provided. And I work on also with some American firms, which finally gave me the result I wanted with my first book.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really want to call their name. I'm not really into publicity of the company. Yeah, but then after that, I thought it was that not just me doing this, other Cameroonians want to write, they want to grow. And I wouldn't love other young Cameroonians going through the same struggles I went through, because if they have to do that, many will abandon it, because I can tell you it's really an overwhelming process. So I decided to start a company, a publishing company.
Wow.
And by the grace of God, we got all the license from the ministry, everything. So we published international, like the recent book, that's the first work of our publishing company, Kingdom Press. Yeah,
Wow.
so Kingdom Press, by the grace of God, I happen to be the CEO of Kingdom Press. And I have a very dynamic team, very interesting team that works with me.
And this team is all made up of just Cameroonians.
Yeah, for now, they're all made of Cameroonians. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm sitting down with the CEO. I've made it in live already. This is my first interview. I'm sitting down with the CEO. So, but don't ask me for money, eh? Because I mean, the struggles in Cameroon. I mean, it's always not easy. It's always not easy making it. As most people know in Cameroon, most people know that probably in Africa, not only in Cameroon, because when you go through Facebook and other social media, you will see the complaints from so many African youths and so many other people out there. Like, making it out here isn't easy. So how easy was it to just come up with all of these things? Was it that easy, or how was the struggle?
Just tell you truly, as the people say, it's not really easy making it out here, but I do have that belief that we have to make it easier to make it out here, because if we in our generation cannot pay the price, then the next generation will have the same complaints that we're having right now. And to quickly tell you, one of the reasons why I'm in Cameroon, I've had every opportunity to leave this nation. The reason why I'm here is because I want to prove to the world, I want to prove to Cameroonians, I want to prove to Africans that we can make it in Africa. I know there are so many, there are tons of Africans, thousands, hundreds of thousands of young Africans who are making it within the African continent. And I want to be one of those people. And so the greatest message I want to give to any Cameroonian out there, or to any young African out there, should be my success here in the country. Yeah, so making it out here was really difficult, but you have to be patient, you have to be consistent, you have to be persistent. There have been days, there have been documents that I thought I could get them in an hour, and I have to spend months to get them. There have been times that people want you to pay extra to what you are normally supposed to pay to get a document. But I believe if you do not believe in bribe like I do, if you are one of those who believe like me that you can get it without bribing for it, then you can take the process. The process, it may be slower, but surely you'll get it, because if you want it so bad, you need to press on. There are times I had to knock at the doors of some offices more than 4 or 5 times before I could be given a chance, or I could be given a listening ear. But one thing for sure is the fact that I never gave up. Yeah.
So if you were thinking of setting us a business or maybe starting up something here, you heard it from him. Giving up should not be an option.
Yeah.
Keep pushing, because I mean the door will be open for you one day. It's just something to be pushing up. Uh, just to let you know, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that it was a pleasure meeting him. I mean, we've known ourselves for a while now, so it was that easy as well getting to him. I mean, how easy? How easy is it for probably people to contact you, maybe for something? How easy is that? Or where should people get in contact to is it to you, contact with you? English is not your
Okay.
People can get in contact with me. I think my number is on my social media platform, and when you call, you either reach me directly, or surely you'll reach to a member of the team. And moreover, you can just write me on any of my social media platforms. On Facebook, you can write me on Thomas, and on Instagram, anywhere. And I can say for now, I do my best to reply every single message I get. Yeah, and I always really appreciate when people write in respectful way and responsibly making responsible demands. Yeah, let me say I'm a small boy. Yeah, so I love to chat with people to get their worries, to get their ideas, and I think that is even the focus of what I do, talking with people, because I write books because I want to solve problems. I write books because I want to help people live their best. So if I don't collaborate with people, if I don't talk to
If I don't talk to people, if I don't listen to them, I will not know what they are going through. Like if I could tell you something, there was one time I was reading a book written by one man in America. The book was written in the early 90s. And this book was talking about making it from zero. I don't want to talk about the author, but it was talking about making it from zero. And I was so interested in reading this book because this was when I was still in school. I had nothing then. And then when the guy went towards the end, he talked about his family story, how they were so poor, because he kept talking about how they were poor while growing up.
Yeah.
So, but when he went towards the end, he was talking about they were so poor that he had to sleep in his vehicle, in his car. They were so poor that they had just a two-room apartment to their name. I'm like, God, you guys had a car? You guys had a two-room apartment, and you're telling me you started from zero? Like, and I said to myself, like, no. I said, I want to relate to the story that people can feel belong. People in my part of the world can feel belong. Because when people say they're starting from zero, they're starting from zero.
Yeah.
When people say that they were poor, yeah, when you look at it, you understand that these people were poor. So I understand that was in the context of his nation. So, but then I realized that we have to write our story. In Africa, we have to write our story. In Cameroon, we have to write our story wherever we are.
Wow.
So I always like to pay attention to people, talk with people, share with them their worries.
Okay, this other question is kind of a tough one. I mean, it's something to deal with, because in Africa it's very normal. Most people in Africa are not really familiar with reading books like that. So, what was your, I don't know, what was the strategy, maybe or what in this book specifically do you think will make people, or will make someone maybe just open the book and then be able to maybe read all through and maybe try to get something from the book? Or what was your target audience before writing this book?
uh, I think when you ask about this book, okay, like these books, or
Yeah.
every single book I write, I try to focus it within a specific content. Like I've written about worship, and since that's my area, so I wrote about worship because I wanted to share my view on worship and to share my view on the dynamics of worship. And now I've written the recent book, which is the one I'd really love to talk about more. Boundless Love. I wrote Boundless Love. The target is every African child out here, and especially those growing up on the street, the orphans, children born out of wedlock. I have a special concern for this grade of people because I realize that if we do not help, most of these people end up going to the grave with all the potentials trapped inside of them because they grew up with that trauma. So how easy is it to see somebody at 70 and who's living an irresponsible life, and his excuse is my dad left when I was 5. His excuse is I never had a father, I never had a mother. So I want to let every child out there know that whether with a father or not, you have a very big family that believes in you and you can release your potential. Concerning the fact that Africans don't like reading, yeah, it's true that Africans don't like reading. But I can tell you with recent surveys that I have done with my team, not really a large scale survey, I can tell you there is a gradual growing with the coming of motivational speaking, which has become one of the strongest industries now that is making money for so many people. Many people are leaning towards reading books because they have been motivated to read these books. And also, I don't want to end at that level. I'm looking forward. We are developing our platforms. I'm looking forward to audio publications in the nearer future and video publications so that those who do not feel comfortable reading, they can listen. Myself, I'm a fan of audiobooks. Sometimes when I travel, that's where I do one of my best stories when I travel. I always like to have an audiobook. Maybe I have my earpiece. I listen to it while I travel, or if I cannot read in the vehicle. Yeah.
Um, Thank you. I mean, it's been an amazing one. I hope you enjoyed every moment of this video. But before we end the video, I would like to hear from you. Like, what is your final message to Cameroonians out there? What is your final message to anyone who's watching this video?
Mm-hmm. All right, the final message I'll give every single person watching this video out there is the fact that I strongly believe that every one of us is an embodiment of potentials, like I said earlier. You are a package that you have been sent to this world to bless this world. There are potentials trapped inside of you. And if you go to the grave with such potentials, you have robbed us. And we want those potentials. We don't want you to rob us. We want you to unleash everything that God has put within you. So then, I'm telling you, believe in yourself, work hard, study, and keep pressing. And the more you press, the closer you get to it. And someday, you will tell your story and others will tell your stories too. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Masa Thomas, it was an awesome one having you on here. Thank you so much for honoring, should I say, honoring my call.
Mm.
One last thing. Hey, I will not go without letting him say this. He did not even ask me to stop right here.
All right. Okay. All right.
I need people to subscribe to this channel. I mean.
All right. Sorry. I should have forgotten this very important piece of message. I think you should subscribe to this channel like right now if you have not subscribed, and you should share such videos because I so much appreciate when a young African is doing things because this guy is showing us the Cameroon that the medias will never show us. He's showing us dynamics, potentials that are trapped within our nation. So subscribe, share to your families, let them subscribe. It's more important to watch content like this than to maybe be watching things that will not impact your life in any way. So if you have not subscribed, subscribe right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much. I mean, it was an awesome one doing this video with you. I am really pleased. I hope you enjoyed every bit of the video. And as I said in the beginning, if you're probably doing something different out there, you can reach out to me on any of my social media handles, and I'll respond you within, as fast as possible. Thank you so much for having watched this video. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.